Are you ready to try a beer with me from what's considered one of Spain's founding craft beer breweries? And I would probably say in everybody's top 10 list here, if not top 5 or higher, right? And yeah, so we're going to try this beer today. This is Unzipped West Coast IPA from Garage Brewing in Barcelona. Welcome, my name is George. I'm an Advanced Cicerone and a national ranked BJCP judge, and from San Diego originally, now living in Madrid, Spain. And I've been exploring the craft beer scene here over the past year and a half, and come to find a lot of really great things, some things that need improvement, etc. You know, just like any beer scene. But today we're here to talk about this brewery. This is Garage, and they are out of Barcelona. They founded in 2015. And it's an Italian and a Brit meeting up in Barcelona to do their thing. And a pretty good story. I'll maybe get into it as we try this beer, but I wanted to try their Unzipped West Coast IPA. This is a collaboration with, it is Double R Hop Ranches in Washington. And so this is 100% Citra. The beer itself is 6.5%. Reading on their website, seems like they just kind of went for a very base, you know, a nice, clean, pale malt base, and they don't really elaborate on if they have like any caramel malt or anything like that in there, but kind of on appearance, it seems not so. Like a very light straw color, very like, very white, like bone white head there, which is a little kind of sudsy, like bubble bath sudsy there, not very dense. And yeah, you can see that color is like a very light yellow. So yeah, this 100% Citra beer, West Coast style IPA. They, you know, on the website they mentioned that they wanted it to be something, you know, for the clear beer lovers, which sure, I guess I put myself there. Appears to be Brussels sprouts on the label there. Very fun. And yeah, it's part of their Farm to Pint collaboration. So I'm assuming that might be like a series that they're doing, like working with the farmers and getting fresh deliveries. But yeah, so I'll go into just a quick tasting of the beer. I'll maybe talk about like some food ideas that come up. I definitely want to introduce you to the brewery itself, since if you don't know about Garage Beer Co., and if you're coming to Spain at some point, it'll be a brewery that you'll find pretty much all over Spain. You'll find pretty much all over Europe as well. And that said, they do seem to give a darn about their cold chain. So making sure that like their packaging and delivery and everything up to the point of sale is cold. As far as if everyone else in the middle of that is doing their job, or at the end of that is doing their job, who knows? But odds are if you find this beer around Europe, it should have been pretty well taken care of. They do have the canning date and the best before. In this case, this was canned on January 4th, so pretty new. I'm drinking it on January 19th. So just a couple weeks old now. So yeah, pretty nice and fresh. And I know it's been out for about a week. I think I bought it about a week ago, so I could have had it within almost a week of canning, which is pretty great. So let's get into the flavor, and then I'll talk a little bit about the history of the brewery itself and share some food pairing. Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to start with the aroma here. It's really, you know, so this is Citra all the way, and getting a little bit of like guava and lychee and mango and papaya. And you get that like a little bit of kind of funky side of tropical fruit. You know, sometimes tropical fruit can almost smell like kind of like trashy. It's just part of the characteristic. It's like one of those things that I would describe. Maybe a little cat pissy even, but really subtle, really low. As I'm kind of thinking about it too, definitely a little hint of passion fruit. So definitely leaning towards tropical fruit. In terms of citrus, I get like more of a lemon verbena, like not really like orange citrus. I get more lemon, even like lemongrass a little bit. And I'm not really getting a boatload of grapefruit. It's more like the flavor of grapefruit, like in a candy or something like that. So now that I'm thinking about candy, makes me think of like peach O's or like peach rings, and yeah, very very nice aroma. It's pretty like subtle. I'd say the aroma itself on the hops is like in the medium territory or even like medium low. It's not really like bursting out of the glass, but it does smell pretty clean. In terms of malt characteristics, it's bready, very like touch of honey, and I'd say it's low malt. In terms of yeast, I'm getting some sort of ester characteristics here that are more like peach, and a little hint of apple, but like Fuji apple. And no diacetyl. It's very clean. Definitely smells like a very clean, good fermentation. And yeah, flavor. Really clean, very easy drinking. The first thing that comes up is, of course, this hop profile. The bitterness is, I'm gonna go medium low, and it lingers a little bit into the finish, the bitterness, but it's not very aggressive. But it's pretty well balanced in that the malt is also, I would say, very low, and is now into just like really simple breads, little touch of graham cracker, a little touch of honey, but still in the very low threshold or intensity. And yeast, you get a little hint of like alcohol in there, and then if I leap forward to mouthfeel, yeah, a little touch of alcohol warmth, but it's pleasing. It's not off-putting. It's all part of the whole package there. It's very very low. So yeah, balances towards the hop aroma or hop flavor and bitterness, but overall a pretty light, easy drinking beer. So if I was saying for the mouthfeel, say light body, carbonation was in that like medium territory. Alcohol warmth was very low. It was welcoming. It wasn't like over the top. It wasn't out of spec for what I might expect for a 6.4% beer that finishes pretty dry. Yeah, overall, very, very nice, easy drinking beer. This like return to the West Coast IPA, I'd say this is like the happy medium where it's like, okay, it's not crystal clear, but it's super light. Like look how like light in color that is. So definitely no caramel sort of characteristics, definitely not detecting it on the aroma or the flavor, and definitely not expecting it in the color. This almost looks like a Pilsner malt of brew, which it may or may not be, especially at 6.4%. Perhaps they're using some sugar in there. I don't know if they're forced to say that or not. If they were, let me take a look here. Contains malt, yes. Dun, dun. So I'm just looking for sugar because, when I'm thinking of West Coast IPA, you usually would use a little bit of sugar in there to help get the alcohol up into this territory, but keep the malt complexity sort of low or subdued so that the hops could really shine and help you achieve this really nice dry finish. I can't tell from the can if that's true or not in this case, but it definitely seems like if I were going to try to mimic this recipe, it's probably something I would employ, would be using like 10% sugar or so, but it's not really what we're trying to do here. And so food pairings with this, the beer itself, really light, easy, refreshing. It doesn't have a ton of intensity, so I would probably go for, a pretty flavorful salad. If I'm going in the meat territory, I probably go with things that are pretty lean, and things that don't have too much of like a heavy sauce or anything on top. So pretty like simple. Yeah, things that are like a hamburger, sure, would be great with this. I don't know if it would add much to the sort of exchange, but maybe some things that have like just a touch of light herbaceousness. So whether it's like a pico de gallo that's like, in a taco. Tacos are one of my favorite food pairings, apparently. I keep mentioning those. Or like a pasta primavera, I think would be really nice and simple with this. You're just looking where you can maybe introduce a little bit more like herbaceous characteristic or even citrus characteristics with like how you're preparing the pasta. That could be really fun. And where the creaminess or the oil is pretty low. So if you were going to go with like a white cream or salsa or sauce, then I would hopefully have something that's kind of not too heavy and dense, and or not too heavily applied to the dish, so that you don't kind of blow out like what this beer has, or like take too much from it. But yeah, so a little bit about the brewery itself. I mentioned 2015 was when the brewery was founded. Two friends who met each other like at a homebrew club, and one of their wives does the artwork as well, as she's an artist in her own right, and so she was able to help and provide a lot of distinction in the market, right? Because she has her own style, and she got to kind of like contribute that to the brand and to their success, especially early on. One of the things I read about them from an article in Good Beer Hunting that I really appreciated was they admitted in the article that when they first started, their beers were not coming out great. They had a cool space and a cool neighborhood, and they were trying to really make it about community, but they knew that like their beers weren't really up to par. And he tells a story about one day during the Barcelona Beer Fest, the illustrious Garrett Oliver, author and editor of many books and master brewer at Brooklyn Brewery, walks through the door, and he approaches and says, "Hey, our beers aren't really like up there yet. Could you recommend somebody that we could do a collaboration with in the United States?" And Garrett put them in touch with the team at Other Half, and they said, will you please come, could we do a collaboration? And that beer, they say, is kind of the beer where they were able to pick the brains of the guys at Other Half, and learn their techniques and learn a little bit more about the style. And they say that's kind of what really put them on their path of making very good, like, hop forward IPAs, pale ales, etc., which is definitely what they're known for. But they do have some good examples kind of outside that territory as well. And I visited in, I think, 2019 and enjoyed their beers and at their original space, but I haven't been back in recent years to either of their, because now they have a larger facility, but I haven't been able to visit, return and try more. So I only have had the opportunity to pick up a few beers here and there. West Coast IPAs and hazy IPAs don't always tend to be my go-to beer when I'm out drinking beer, but I've definitely seen them around a lot, and this is definitely one that, when you're coming to Spain or Europe and you're bopping around, this would be a good one to go for, because they seem to be very consistent. And when I talk to people about who their favorite breweries are, Garage is almost always mentioned in that reference list. So yeah, that's what I would say would be about it for this little quick sip, this little quick review. Like and subscribe, leave some comments. I'd love to hear more about the types of beers that you're looking forward to, especially since maybe you're planning a trip to Europe sometime soon. Maybe there's a German brewery or an Italian brewery or a Spanish or English brewery that you've heard of. I'll try to be your reference point for a lot of those because I have access to them. And or if there's certain styles you want to see, then I'm here for that. So again, my name is George. Thanks so much. I hope you have a wonderful day, week, weekend, whatever it is, and enjoy. Cheers.